I am a big fan of the multi-tool, at least when it's done right. If you get a well-designed, well-made multi-tool, it's going to be able to accomplish just about every task that you'll be faced with during the day, whether it's cutting wire, opening cans, filing, sawing, maybe scissor tasks. A good multi-tool, at least a full-size one, and actually even the S4 Juice, my favorite compact multi-tool currently, will be able to accomplish those tasks readily. And I think you're wise to make it your primary EDC tool, so to speak. And in fact, if you're a soldier, you should have a multi-tool on you. I really believe that, because most of your tasks are going to be handled quite well by such a tool. Welcome to my review of another excellent multi-tool, this one being the SOG Powerlock EOD model B61 in black oxide. I purchased it through military clothing. Yes, I'm in the military. I got it through military channels. No, they didn't issue it to me. I spent my own money on it. But this is mine. And in the background you see lurking there my reference tool, the excellent, if not outstanding, Leatherman Charge TTi limited edition Cabelas. No, you can't have it. No, I'm not trading it. Don't ask. Love this thing. And we're going to put these two multi-tools head to head as I talk primarily about the SOG Powerlock. Let's rock and roll. As you can see, these are my talking points so I can stay organized as I go down the list and hopefully hit all these things and cover the things that might be important to you, a prospective buyer of a full-size multi-tool. Maybe you're thinking about a SOG Powerlock, which is an excellent tool, but maybe you're also thinking about a Charge TTi or AL or ALX, some of those other full-size offerings. The models are going to change over the years. Even so, this review will still might be helpful in that you'll see some features that you might want to look for in future years. But they're probably just going to improve in quality and price and weight. So let's get going. I'm going to first talk about size and weight. And I'm going to do it naked style first. No, not me. I'm talking about the multi-tools. I guarantee you want to see the former. The multi-tools. Naked meaning out of their sheath. Let's talk about the size in their deployed configuration like this. Well, in a deployed configuration, I think a larger pair of pliers is better. It has more leverage. And yes, I'm going to talk about the compound leverage of the SOG Powerlock. Not now. I'm going to just talk about the moment arms. With larger pliers, you're going to have more ability to pinch, to crimp, to cut wire, and I think in the deployed form the SOG Powerlock probably has a little bit of advantage over the Charge TTi. But how about when we fold these, and this is probably the most important form factor if you ask me. Let me lower the camera here so we can get a better look. And I say most important because this is generally how they're going to be carried, in their folded form. And the Charge TTi, this model, or the ALX are all the same size. It wins big time. It's both narrower, it's shorter overall width. It is slightly thicker. I'm not going to break out a ruler and measure it, but it is just a little bit thicker. So the Charge is actually, though, overall, in my opinion, a much more compact multi-tool. I like that. That means that I can put it on my LBE, that is load-bearing equipment, and where I might have some AR mags, some M16 mags, my Beretta M9, all kinds of stuff can be taking up space and weight on my loadout if you're a soldier. Same for you civilians. I mean, you have a lot of stuff you're carrying. It's not just a knife. Cell phone, you might be a concealed carry permit holder, you know, fulfilling your sheepdog duties. I'm all for that, by the way. Weight is a critical thing, and size as well. So I think this wins. Let's take a look what they look like in the sheath, though, because you don't carry them naked. You carry them in the sheath. Charge TTi on the right. Here, the SOG Powerlock on the left, of course, in its leather sheath. Talk about those separately. And again, the Charge TTi is going to be a more compact carry package. A little bit wider, but in fairness, the Charge on the right actually has a tool bit package in an elastic pouch. That's why it's wider. Advantage Charge, no doubt. How about weight? And we'll actually, I'm not even going to break out the scale because I already know what it is. I weighed this, and this is with several tool bits, which I'll show you here in a little bit. 11 ounces, and the SOG is 11.4 ounces in its leather sheath. So we'll call that a draw, but this has tool bits in it. The SOG Powerlock is not carrying any tool bits at all. It's just a tool in the pouch. So weight-wise, advantage charge. If we measure or weigh the tools out individually, out of the pouch as they come, again, the charge is going to have an advantage. Substantial at 1.2 ounces. I think this one's 9.6 ounces, and this one is like, let me forget. Let me bring out the scale. I think it's like 8 something. 8.4. Yeah, 1.2 ounce advantage. This is 9.6, 8.4 ounces advantage charge again. Now, a lot of users will say, it's only an ounce. Actually, just an ounce. Who cares? Well, I care. It's because I have a lot of things generally I'm carrying, and the more I can shave ounces, the better off I am, the more I like it. So, but for a lot of users, honestly, I understand if you don't really care about an ounce. But 1.2 ounces, truth be told, is the weight of a SOG Flash 1 small EDC blade. So, it's not nothing. It is something. But advantage charge, both in size and weight. That brings us to next talking point. By Nutnfancy, ease of use. How easy are these things to use? One thing I like about the SOG Powerlock is the compound gearing there that's in the handles here. It also allows you to deploy the knife, or I'm sorry, the multi-tool, kind of like a balisong. You can kind of flip that out and rotate it. I'm not super practiced at it just because I'm not. But you can get pretty quick with it. The pliers, therefore, will come out readily. And I like that a lot better than the Gerber style of thing where you have to press release and they shoot out at the front. I do not generally like that method of pliers deployment. But advantage SOG Powerlock for ease of use getting the pliers out. The charge, of course, is more traditional. We're going to have to open up the handles and deploy it that way. So, not a big deal, but quicker for deploying the pliers. But we have a lot more tools that we're going to be using than pliers in these multi-tools, and probably the one that is most accessed will be the blade. And here we see again the outstanding design of the Charge TI series, whether it's AL, ALX, or in this version TTi, and that is they place the blades on the exterior of the handle. Good job. Bam! We can access the blade easily and quickly. And if we want some other tools on the perimeter of the Charge, like the hook blade with the serrations on it, maybe a file, maybe a saw, again, they're on the exterior. We don't even have to open up the tool to access those. That is an outstanding design. I think in the future years you're going to see other makers copying this design, just as they've done with a lot of things that Leatherman has innovated. Now, back to the Powerlock. If we want to get to the blade, then it is definitely not super easy. We're going to have to open it up. We have to take off the handle covers. Then we have to go searching. Now, you can say, well, you should know where your blade is. Well, maybe if you use it a lot. Oh, there it is. It's on this side, so I have to pinch it, pull it out. Here we go. Lock it. Nope, blade got in the way. Okay, I'm not really trying to make this cumbersome, it just kind of is. Bam, we got our blade. Not bam, it actually took me a while. And that's not easy, getting that blade out. And same goes for the file, same goes for the saw. They're just going to be slower to deploy because they're internally held within the SOG Powerlock. So, and let me talk a little bit about these handle covers. You can see how the SOG Powerlock uses them, and I don't like them at all, really, because they can actually get hung up on the pliers. They just add complexity, ruining a simplistic design, and the handle covers just suck. Because every time I want to access a tool, I got to flip them open, flip them closed. Back and forth we go. Why do they put them on there? It's because they have sharp edges on the exterior of the tool here, and without those handle covers, our hands would be jamming right in this on the outside of those, and it wouldn't be very comfortable. And actually, the initial Leathermans, the earlier ones, had that problem too. It's just not comfortable. And that's how the SOG Powerlock series addresses that with a little handle cover. It makes it more comfortable to hold and to apply leverage. But, again, it adds complexity and it slows the tool access down for pretty much everything. So advantage for the pliers, disadvantage for everything else you're going to access. So overall, I'm going to give the advantage to, yes, again, the Charge TTi. And by the way, I'm not biased and I'm not brand myopic like I've talked about in other videos. In other words, I don't prefer one brand over another. I look at every tool, every knife, every gun, every tactical accessory, outdoor piece of gear, blah, 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 separately on its own merits. Now, I do get a feel for a company as the years go by of how they do things. I come to expect a certain level of quality, service, and features like Leatherman, and I'm leaning towards thinking they got it right until I evaluate it, but I'm not afraid to blast any company. I'm a big fan of SOG. Look at my knife reviews on SOG. Love that company. Glowing reviews for many of their models, like the Flash series, but I'm going to, kick them in the pants if I have to when they get some things wrong. So, ease of use, advantage, Charge, thank you very much. How about comfort? That's another, I know that's a weird talking point, isn't it? But I think it's important. And comfort is overall ease of use. It's kind of easy use, but also how does it feel in hand? I love the Charge TTi, or the whole Charge series, because they're all rounded edges. You won't find any sharp edges on the Charge. As we apply leverage in, let's say, a hard wire cutting scenario, i.e. maybe you were cutting some relatively thick baling wire right here, we're going to need some leverage to do that. The Charge is comfortable to apply that leverage. You know what, though? Truth be told, so is the SOG Powerlock. Because of the handle covers, albeit they're kind of clumsy, cumbersome, they do provide the comfort that they were designed to provide. No problem there. But let's go ahead and talk about something I don't like about the Charge, and that is accessing the tools. And I might be jumping ahead of my talking points, but you know what? So be it. Let's say I want to access the screwdriver, the flat-bladed screwdriver. By the way, it lays next to that blade. The only way I find to do it is to pull the blade out, because guess what? It follows the blade. And there's really no nick there for me to access that blade. I guess there is one in the back here, but I find that's very hard to access. The best way to get that flat-bladed screwdriver out for me is to pull the main blade out, la-di-da-di-da, flip out the screwdriver blade. Once go back in, nope, you're being naughty. Nope, don't do that. Put the main blade in, fold the handle cover. Now we have our flat-bladed screwdriver. It's kind of a hassle. Gets back to ease of use. Not too great. Now let's compare and contrast that against the Charge TTi. And again, the TTi has bit holders. So, and I think I have one in here. I have a Phillips. Look at the nicks that the Charge has. There's no nonsense about me accessing that tool. I just put my fingernail on it, just enough to raise it, deploy it, it locks solidly. Bam, done. If I need to fold it, simply undo the lock. Again, it's easy enough to unlock the power lock as well. However, I gotta remember to raise that cover. That's a hassle. Here we go, we fold it, close the cover. Anyways, that's kind of ease of use, but also it's comfort. It's just not easy to do because I cannot fish out that tool with my fingernail. I guess I can dig and waste time and poke and prod and finally pull it out. Now, how about, to be fair, and I like to be fair in all my reviews, the other side really does not have that problem with all the tools. They have another flat-bladed screwdriver, although they are sympathetic in their deployment. And by that I mean if I pull one tool out, I get them all. I hate that. So I'm going to have to lock the tool down. Let's say I want that middle blade. It's a Phillips. I have to pull it down and then maybe tap these down as I deploy. Naughty blades. And then here we go. We got it. Advantage Charge for comfort, ease of use once again. Let's move on. And I'm going to have to do this in two parts. I apologize, but I'm going to start with toughness and strength. This is an important difference, and I will have to say that this is where the SOG Powerlock EOD model is going to excel. This is a very strong multi-tool in my experience. This particular one I have has not had use in the military. I have a buddy who has one, and he's used his rather hard, and he swears by it. He says it's a very strong multi-tool, and that's where we're going to talk about this compound leverage mechanism that the pliers have. And it's supposed to give you twice the clamping power of a regular plier multi-tool variety. And again, my buddy who has a lot of experience with his swears by it, and he says indeed that is the case, that you have a lot of compound leverage. That's part one of Nutnfancy's comparison of the good SOG Powerlock EOD model versus my standard of measure, the Leatherman Charge TTi. Tune in for part two. Sorry to do two parts to you, but like you see, there's lots to talk about, including philosophy. Here we go.